Welcome back to the BG. We finally pulled the trigger on the Langmuir Systems Crossfire Pro plasma table with the water table below it. Hey, I do apologize for being absent there some time, but hey, I've been busting my donkey off. So what we want to do is get this plasma table set up, and we got to get this thing plumbed, but let me share with you what we're working on. So what we'll be looking at is the Crossfire Pro setup right in this area here. So this right here is a 3-box setup. So we're looking at the stainless table here, and then you've got the structure of it, and then you've also got the electronics and so forth of it. So it's a 3-box setup, about 250 pounds on it. So this right here is a 5x8 shelving, and what we're looking to do is dedicate this area here for the plasma table. So we're talking about a 5x6 on the table on the outside dimensions, cut around 3 to 4. So this area here will be where the air comes in, and then we'll use this dedicated area to plumb for keeping the air dry as well as clean. So I'll be mounting a 1/4-inch bar across there, 4-inch, and this right here will be mounting to that. So our end game will be this right here will come through the wall to the block, and then it'll either plug off or whatever, but once it leaves this block, it'll come into the separator and regulator. So that's where we'll have the main shut off of the air coming into the shop. But right now we're just going to shortcut it, and we're just going to connect our 1/4-inch fitting straight to it, and we're going to have air in this setup here. So what we're looking at is the Tailonz pneumatic air tubing setup, and that's going to be the 4-stage regulator, separator, dryer, as well as their tubing kit. So you can check the link down below to find out more details on each of these items. I'll put a link for all these items in there. But when it comes down to it, this is what I'm using, the 4-stage, and you can get the 3-stage. So you're looking at a water separator, a filter, and then the 2 that are set up for the dryers here, little dryer beads. So you've also got a regulator on this, as well as your gauge, and you've got a sight glass for service just to make sure, the cleanliness of that. So in this kit here, as far as the tubing kit, this is what it will be included with that. So you can see you get 3 of the blocks, 2 ball valves, some 45s, some T's, So overall, this is a pretty nice kit, but again, this right here is separate. So you can get the, separator, regulator, as well as the tubing kit. So the layout of what we're doing for this table here, as well as the shop air, is going to be coming into the separator regulator with the ball valve. Once it exits here, now we're coming into aluminum block coming from Tailonz that'll then move from this point here that goes up to the 50-foot air hose reel coming from Vevor. So that way I've got an air hose reel that I can pull and move anywhere I want to, and all this is going to be after the separator and regulator. Now, once it leaves this block here, that's where I get confused. So at this point, it's going to leave this block, come down to this block here, and then it'll move into a gauge here, and from that gauge I'll be able to monitor the shop air itself moving around. So that's where it's going to go into all the T fittings and elbows, and all the plumbing of the 1/2-inch by 100-foot hose reel with all the fittings that comes in that kit. Now, aside from that, I've got 2 ports here, which right now they're just plugged off, but this will actually be a continuous loop. So the air will leave here, and then it'll come over and come back into this, making one continuous loop throughout the shop. So that right there is going to be all shop related. This right here will be close by the cutters here. So once it leaves the block coming off of the separator, comes down, feeds the shop air, tees off of that, and comes to the cutters. So I've got 2 cutters here, and the ARCCAPTAIN Cut 55 will be the dedicated cutter for the plasma table. So that right there will be stationary and not moving around. So basically, once the air comes into the secondary block here, it's going to leave this block, come into this 3rd block that'll then separate, going to the YESWELDER and to the ARCCAPTAIN. So to the ARCCAPTAIN at the table, we'll have a shutoff valve coming through another filter separator, leaving it to its style hose here to its finalized area, and that's going to be good clean air coming through 1, 2, 3 separators and regulators. So that right there is also able to be isolated. So when I don't need it, I completely cut the supply off of that machine, not having air setting here on the machine. Now from that, we've got another block here that's going to come off here. It's going to move into the YESWELDER Cut 65DS, and that's going to be, dedicated to be able to move around, put it on a cart, and I can then freehand or take it outside, whatever I need to do. So why I chose this, for what we'll be cutting on this Cut 55 coming from ARCCAPTAIN will be plenty of a cutter. So you're talking a 1/2 inch clean cut on 220 and up to a 3/4 inch max cut. So this right here is a little bit more than what we'll be using. So this right here being the smaller version of what I have, that's going to be dedicated. Now this right here, you're talking a 3/4 of a cut, 15/16 of a max cut on this right here. So to be able to freehand with this one and walk around, that's where I wanted that extra cutting capacity coming from this. So shortcut, comes in, comes out, goes to a hose reel, comes down, goes to the shop air in a continuous loop, leaves that, moves to the cutters here, one to the dedicated with a shut off and one to the freehand with a shut off. So at that point, I probably won't, I've got enough shutoffs on there. So I've got a lot of work to do to get all this set up and make sure we're finalized on things. And with, again, most of the stuff that we'll be cutting with this right here will be probably 14, maybe 16 gauge. So I could probably even run this off of 110. And likewise, I'll have the, 65-foot 12-3 electrical reel set up for this right here when I want to use it. But if I need more, hey, I can very easily plug the 220 in. So pretty sweet setup. So again, I'll put a link down below to find out more details on the Crossfire Pro Tailonz separator kit, their tubing kit, the plasma coming from YESWELDER, the plasma from ARCCAPTAIN, and the electrical, as well as the air hose reel coming from Vevor. So all good quality tools here, and I've just got a lot of steps to get there. So once we get the air supply set up, then we'll move into getting the table set up. And I need to pick up some casters because I like to keep it where I can still roll it out and in, but also have it to where I can, adjust it to where it locks down and levels the table. So those right there, I need to pick up in order to get that as far as the starting point on the legs on that. So super excited on this, and follow along if you'd like to find more. But there's different availabilities coming down. So you're talking, you can get the 3-stage, you can get the, cut 50 or 65. You've got different options in there. So just find what's right for you, but stay tuned, follow along, and we're going to get this, right? We're going to get this. Thanks for tuning in, and back on the BG another day.